I think we have an ongoing and growing problem in the American workforce today where I think employees are missing the point. And the point is that you work for company XYZ. Should you be able to voice your opinion to your leadership? Sure. Yeah. All in favor of that. I think you should absolutely be able to sit down with your leader and voice your opinion. But let me say, when you sit down with your leader and voice your opinion, I think you ought to do it with respect, regardless of what you may have an issue with. Maybe something that they did personally to you. I think you should sit down and be respectful. I think you should be civil. Can you be passionate? Yes. Can you be pointed? Yes. But should you have a posture? And when I talk about posture, is just the way I'm being seen in the meeting. Should I be respectful? Yes. We've lost that. Somehow we've gotten to a place in society today where we, the people, think that in a place of employment where I'm working for this company, they can decide at any moment in at-will states that they can fire me just because they want to. But I work for them. But somehow we've gotten to a place where people think that I can make demands of my employer and say it however I want to, act however I want to, because I think I'm right. So I deserve what I want from you. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to protest or throw a pity party or a pout or whatever. It's fascinating to me. It's dangerous if I want the job. Now, again, I am not in any way saying that you need to be this mealy-mouthed walkover and let leaders treat you poorly. I think if you've been watching and listening to this show at any amount of time, you know that I call that kind of stuff out. Bad leadership, I'll call it out. Say, hey, you need to challenge that and bring attention to it, again, in a respectful, civil way. And if they don't get it, they don't see it, they ignore it, they increase it, whatever, then it's your time. It's time to go. It's not a healthy place. All right. But we've lost sight of what healthy discourse, what proper discourse looks like when we have a disagreement with our company and our leadership. Here's another example. In my hands, a CNBC article, headline, Amazon workers walk out over a lack of trust in leadership. Amazon employees staged a walkout last week in protest of the company's recent return to office mandate, layoffs, and its environmental record. Now, I don't know the person who wrote this article, Annie Palmer. I don't know Annie. Okay. But I think you have to pay attention here as to how this is set up. So let me point it out. I'm asking you folks to be discerning. Some of you aren't going to like the point of view I'm going to take. Some of you don't even like how I set it up. I am okay with that. I'm not mad at you, but I want to provoke some thought, and you can go in the comments and tell me how you feel. I welcome those comments. If you take shots at me, understand, I immediately tell the team, I don't read it. But if you have a disagreement with me and you can do it respectfully and say counterpoint, I like those comments, Alex. All right. Annie lays it out this way. In order, these people walked out in protest of, number one, return to office mandate. Layoffs, number two, and three, environmental record. Approximately 2,000 employees worldwide walked off the job shortly after 3 p.m. Eastern last Wednesday, with about 1,000 of those gathering outside of the Spheres, the massive glass domes that anchor Amazon's Seattle headquarters. I've seen that before. It's pretty impressive. Now, this is what Annie says in the article. I'm sure Annie was supplied the numbers by the group that walked out. It is of interest to me that Amazon says the figure was only about 300 employees. So I don't know who's telling the truth. I can tell you one of them isn't. I don't know which one. But when we say 2,300, me thinks somebody is changing the numbers. I don't know who. All right, let's keep going. So who organized the walkout? Always important. Who's behind it? Well, it was the Amazon Employees for Climate Justice. Aha! An influential worker organization that has repeatedly pressed the e-tailer on its climate stance. Oh, so is this about the environment and the climate? This is what I'm thinking as I read this. Let's keep going. One employee spoke about how remote work had allowed her to spend more time with her family, while coworkers told her it enabled them to care for newborn children, relatives with special needs. So this is a spokesperson amongst the group protesting. Aha! No mention of climate. Or are we talking about a different climate? Let's keep going. This is a quote from Eliza Pan, co-founder of this environmental group, Amazon Employees for Climate Justice. Today looks like it might be the start of a new chapter in Amazon's history when tech workers coming out of the pandemic stood up and said, we still want a say in this company and the direction of this company. We still want to say in the important decisions that affect all of our lives, and tech workers are going to stand up for ourselves, for each other, for our families, the communities where Amazon operates, and for life on planet Earth. I needed some dramatic music, it occurs to me. It's interesting. Amazon employees are walking off the job at a precarious time. Amazon just wrapped up its employee cuts, and it continues to reckon with the rough economy and slowing retail sales, writes the writer of this article. There could be more layoffs. So this is risky. Forget whether or not you think this is right or wrong, what these employees did. Can we just acknowledge it's risky? I think it's incredibly risky. You got another job lined up? You independently wealthy? Because this speech that this person gave to me is immature, and I think it's misguided. Number one, it's immature to just thumb your employer right in the eye. Just, hey, and then it's like, we still have a say. No, you actually don't. The only say you have as an employee is in a private meeting, or if you are a union organizer and you are meeting in negotiations. You don't get a say as a protest. Now, I'm not saying you're right as an American. You can go protest all you want to. I'm all for protest. I really am. Go protest. It could be stupid and pathetic, but you can go protest. And I think this is a silly, pathetic protest. Because I'm going to submit to you that the question I have about this protest in particular is, what climate are we protesting? Are we protesting about the environment? Or are we protesting about the work from home climate? See, I think we got the wrong climate in this protest. And I question whether or not this is about the environment that you live in. I think it's about the environment that you want to work in. And here's the point I'm making. Protesting to try to bend the will of your employer is completely ridiculous. It's not the way to go about it. And I don't think it's ever going to work. Hey, if you don't like the way your company leads and you've challenged it and they don't change, then leave.